Hello, my lovelies. It is time for another round of Have I Read It? So stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Have I Read It is one of my multiple TBR games that I play in order to help pick my TBR for the upcoming month. And the way this one works is you get to help pick my TBR. So I react to a haul from over 3 years ago, and I tell you if I've read the book, if I haven't read the book, or if I've unhauled the book. And out of all of the books that I still have that I have not read, you get to vote on which book or books you want me to add to my TBR. And based on the number of unread that I still own, that will determine how many I have to pick. So if I have 1 through 9 unread, then I will pick the number 1 voted book. If I have 10 through 19, the top 2, and so on and so on. So if you watched my last Have I Read It, you know that I'm reacting to my book haul for April 2022. And this haul was done in 2 videos because it was such a massive haul. So today we're going to be reacting to part 2 of that. So I have the video pulled up. I've got my earbuds in. Let's get started. Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have part 2 of my book haul. So stay tuned. So I accumulated 48 books, so I ended up splitting this into 2 separate videos. So if you would like to see part 1, I will link that up here. In part 1, I showed all of the books that were sent to me as gifts or that I won from giveaways and everything that I ordered online. For this half, I have all the books that came in subscription boxes that I've done unboxings for this month, and all the books that I purchased at my local Books A Million. So let's just get right into it. From here to here are books that I got from subscription boxes. From here to here are ones that came in Owl Crate, and from here to here are Owl Crate Junior. Alright, so the first book I have here is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I feel like I still own this, and I feel like I have not read it. I'm going to double check. I really hope that this round goes better than last round because, whew, that last Have I Read It was rough. Okay, so I do still own this, and I have not read it. This says, 16-year-old Decca lives in fear and anticipation of the blood ceremony that will determine whether she will become a member of her village. Already different from everyone else because of her unnatural intuition, Decca prays for red blood so she can finally feel like she belongs. But on the day of the ceremony, her blood runs gold, the color of impurity, and Decca knows she will face a consequence worse than death. Then a mysterious woman comes to her with a choice: stay in the village and submit to her fate, or leave to fight for the emperor in an army of girls just like her. They are called Alaki, near immortals with rare gifts, and they are the only ones who can stop the empire's greatest threat. Knowing the dangers that lie ahead, yet yearning for acceptance, Decca decides to leave the only life she's ever known. But as she journeys to the capital to train for the biggest battle of her life, she will discover that the great walled city holds many surprises. Nothing and no one are quite what they seem, not even Decca herself. So if you want me to read this, vote The Gilded Ones. Okay, next up. Okay, next up we have Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley. I feel like I have read this one and I still own it. That is correct. I do still own this one, and I actually gave that one 5 stars. All right, next up. Next we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I have not read that. Do I still own it? I feel like I might have unhauled that one. I'm gonna go check real quick because I don't have it marked as unhauled, but I feel like I did unhaul it. And it's not on my shelves in here. So I'm going to go look in my guest room closet really quick. Yes, I did unhaul that one. I was pretty sure I had. How did these get tangled already? All right, let me get back to the video. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have Witches Steeped in Gold by Sienna Smart. I don't know. I unhauled that one. All right. Let me get back to the video here. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have this stunning edition of Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. I feel like I still own this and haven't read it. That is correct. This says, Ceres is safe in the kingdom of Eloria. Here there are no droughts, disease, or famine, and peace is everlasting. It has been this way for hundreds of years, since the first king made a bargain with the lady who ruled the forest that borders the kingdom. But as Eloria prospered, the woods grew dark, cursed, and forbidden. Ceres knows this all too well. When she was young, she barely escaped as the woods killed her friends and her mother. Now Ceres carries a small bit of the curse, the magic, in her blood, a reminder of the day she lost everything. The most danger she faces now as a gardener's daughter is the annoying fox who stalks the royal gardens and won't leave her alone. As a new queen is crowned, however, things long hidden in the woods descend on the kingdom itself. Ceres is forced on the run, her only companions the small fox from the garden, a strange and powerful bear, and the magic in her veins. It's up to her to find the legendary Lady of the Wilds and beg for a way to save her home. But the road is darker and more dangerous than she knows, and as secrets in the past are uncovered amid the teeth and roots of the forest, it's going to take everything she has just to survive. So if you want me to read this, vote Among the Beasts and Briars. All right, next up. Okay, the last of the Owl Crate books, we have Lore by Alexandra Bracken. I'm not sure about this one. I feel like maybe I unhauled this. I think I'm going to go look in my guest room closet to see if it's there. I don't have it marked as unhauled, but it's been a long time since I've actually done anything to update my Goodreads, so yeah. Let me go check. Okay, so I do still own that and have not read it. This says, from the #1 New York Times bestselling author of The Darkest Minds comes a sweepingly ambitious, high-octane tale of power, destiny, love, and redemption. Every 7 years, the Agon begins. As punishment for past rebellion, 9 Greek gods are forced to walk the earth as mortals, hunted by the descendants of ancient bloodlines, all eager to kill a god and seize their divine power and immortality. Long ago, Lore Perseus fled the brutal world in the wake of her family's sadistic murder by a rival line, turning her back on the hunt's promises of eternal glory. For years she's pushed away any thought of revenge against the man, now a god, responsible for their deaths. Yet as that next hunt dawns over New York City, 2 participants seek out her help. Castor, a childhood friend of Lore, believed long dead, and gravely wounded Athena, among the last of the original gods. The goddess offers an alliance against their mutual enemy, and at last a way for Lore to leave the Agon behind forever. But Lore's decision to bind her fate to Athena's and rejoin the hunt will come at a deadly cost, and still may not be enough to stop the rise of a new god with the power to bring humanity to its knees. So if you want me to read this, vote Lore. All right, next up. Okay, now for the Owl Crate Junior books. So the first one we have here is The In-Between by Rebecca K.S. Ansari. I don't know. Okay, I do still own this and have not read it. This says, Cooper is lost. Ever since his father left their family 3 years ago, he has become distant from his friends, constantly annoyed by his little sister Jess, and completely fed up with the pale, creepy rich girl who moved in next door, who won't stop staring at him. So when Cooper learns of an unsolved mystery his sister has discovered online, he welcomes the distraction. It's the tale of a deadly train crash that occurred 100 years ago, in which one young boy among the dead was never identified. The only distinguishing mark on him was a strange insignia on his suit coat, a symbol no one had seen before or since. Jess is fascinated by the mystery of the unknown child because she's seen the insignia, and she tells Cooper he has too. It's the symbol on the jacket of the girl next door. As they uncover more information, the mounting evidence of the girl's seemingly impossible connection to the tragedy, Cooper and Jess begin to wonder if a similar disaster could be heading to their hometown. Thus begins an unforgettable adventure about the forgotten among us and what it means to be seen. So if you want me to read this, vote The In-Between. Funny, in the first part, there was also another book called The In-Between, though it didn't have a dash between in and between. And I think it was YA, and this one's middle grade. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I still own this and have not read it. I know I still own this one. Hold on. All right, this one says, Quentin Peters was the golden boy of the Rosewood Low-Income Housing Project, receiving full scholarship offers to 2 different Ivy League schools. When he mysteriously goes missing, his little sister, 13-year-old Amari Peters, can't understand why it's not a bigger deal. Why isn't his story all over the news? And why do the police automatically assume he was into something illegal? Then Amari discovers a ticking briefcase in her brother's old closet, a briefcase meant for her eyes only. There was far more to Quentin, it seems, than she ever knew. He's left her a nomination for a summer tryout at the secretive Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. Amari is certain the answer to finding out what happened to him lies somewhere inside, if only she can get her head around the idea of mermaids, dwarves, yetis, and magicians all being real things, something she has to instantly confront when she's given a were-dragon as a roommate. Amari must compete against some of the nation's wealthiest kids who've known about the supernatural world their whole lives and are able to easily answer questions like, which 2 great beasts reside in the Atlantic Ocean, and how old is Merlin? Just getting around the Bureau is a lesson alone from Amari, with signs like, Department of Hidden Places this way, or is it? If that all wasn't enough, every Bureau trainee has a talent enhanced to supernatural levels to help them do their jobs, but Amari is given an illegal ability, as if she needed something else to make her stand out. With an evil magician threatening the whole supernatural world, and her own classmates thinking she is an enemy, Amari has never felt more alone. But if she doesn't pass the 3 tryouts, she may never find out what happened to Quentin. So if you want me to read this, vote Amari and the Night Brothers. And I've heard really, really good things about this book. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. I feel like I still own this. I do, and I have not read it. This says, winner of the 2013 Newbery Medal and a #1 New York Times bestseller, this stirring and unforgettable novel from renowned author Catherine Applegate celebrates the transformative power of unexpected friendship. Inspired by the true story of a captive gorilla known as Ivan, this illustrated novel is told from the point of view of Ivan himself. Having spent 27 years behind the glass walls of his enclosure in a shopping mall, Ivan has grown accustomed to humans watching him. He hardly ever thinks about his life in the jungle. Instead, Ivan occupies himself with television, his friends Stella and Bob, and painting. But when he meets Ruby, a baby elephant taken from the wild, he is forced to see their home and his art through new eyes. In the tradition of timeless stories like Charlotte's Web and Stuart Little, Catherine Applegate blends humor and poignancy to create an unforgettable story of friendship, art, and hope. So if you want me to read this, vote The One and Only Ivan. All right, next up. Then we have The Elephant in the Room by Holly Goldberg Sloan. I'm not sure. Okay, I do still own this and have not read it. This says, it's been almost a year since Scylla's mother traveled halfway around the world to Turkey, hoping to secure the immigration paperwork that would allow her to return to her family in the United States. The long separation is almost impossible for Scylla to withstand, but things change when Scylla accompanies her father, who is a mechanic, outside their Oregon town to fix a truck. There, behind an enormous stone wall, she meets a grandfatherly man who only months before won the state lottery. Their new alliance leads to the rescue of a circus elephant named Vida, and then to a friendship with an unusual boy named Matteo, proving that comfort and hope come in the most unlikely of places. So if you want me to read this, vote The Elephant in the Room. All right, next up. Next up we have Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears by Taylor K. Mija. I feel like I still own this one. Let me check. Okay, I do still own it and I have not read it. This says best-selling author Rick Riordan presents author Taylor K. Mijas' thrilling adventure based on the Mexican legend of La Llorona, now in paperback. Space-obsessed 12-year-old Paolo Santiago and her two best friends, Emma and Dante, know the rule: stay away from the river. It's all they've heard since a schoolmate of theirs drowned a year ago. Pau is embarrassed to admit that she's been told to stay away for even longer than that, because her mother is constantly warning her about La Llorona, the wailing ghost woman who wanders the banks of the Gila at night, looking for young people to drag into its murky depths. Hating her mother's humiliating superstitions and knowing that she and her friends would never venture into the water, Pau organizes a meetup to test out her new telescope near the Gila, since it's the best stargazing spot. But when Emma never arrives and Pau sees a shadowy figure in the reeds, it seems like maybe her mom was right. Pau has always relied on hard science to make sense of the world, but to find her friend, she will have to enter the world of nightmares, which includes an unnatural mist, mind-bending monsters, and relentless spirits controlled by a terrifying force that defies both logic and legend. Part ghost story, part family story, and part hero quest, this exciting and imaginative tale will transport readers to another world. So if you want me to read this, vote Paolo Santiago and the River of Tears. All right, next up. And then the last of the Crate Junior books, we have C.C. Rios and the Desert of Souls by Kayla Riviera. I'm pretty sure I've read this one. Let me check. Yes, I have read it and do still own it because I gave it 4 stars. All right, let me get back to the video. All right, next up. Now the rest of this stack are books that came from Books A Million. My local Books A Million, they're closing down and they had everything on sale just for 20% because they're still not closing down for a few months. So I went in and I bought a whole bunch of stuff. So the first 2 books I have here are part of a series. Let me look up on Goodreads to see what numbers in the series these are. Okay, so I already currently own books 1 and 2 of this series, and the ones that I purchased at Books A Million are books 3 and 4. So this is book 3 and 4 of the Jane Hawk series by Dean Koontz. We have The Crooked Staircase and The Forbidden Door. I do still own and have not read either of those. Let me see where I got to in that series. Okay, so I've read books 1 and 2. I haven't read 3 and 4 yet. I would definitely have to refresh my memory on these for sure, because it's been a minute. So let me tell you about the first book, because I don't want to spoil anything by reading you the synopsis of book 3. So the first book says, meet Jane Hawk, a remarkable new heroine certain to become an icon of suspense propelled by the singular narrative genius of #1 New York Times bestselling author Dean Koontz. I very much need to be dead. These are the chilling words left behind by a man who had everything to live for, but took his own life. In the aftermath, his widow, Jane Hawk, does what all her grief, fear, and fury demand: find the truth no matter what. People of talent and accomplishment, people admired and happy and sound of mind, have been committing suicide in surprising numbers. When Jane seeks to learn why, she becomes the most wanted fugitive in America. Her powerful enemies are protecting a secret so important, so terrifying, that they will exterminate anyone in their way. But all their power and viciousness may not be enough to stop a woman as clever as they are cold-blooded, as relentless as they are ruthless, and who is driven by the righteous rage they can never comprehend, because it's born of love. So if you want me to continue this series, you'll vote for book 3, which is The Crooked Staircase. So that puts us at 10 unread at this point, which means I will have to pick the top 2 voted books at least. There's still quite a stack. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have A Tale of Witchcraft by Chris Colfer. This is the sequel to his newest, I think it's his newest series, A Tale of Magic. I do still own this. I have not read it. I don't think I've read the first book. Hold on. Okay, so I do own A Tale of Magic. I haven't read it yet. So that's the one that you'll actually vote for in this case. So this says, a new series set in the Land of Stories universe from the #1 New York Times bestselling author Chris Colfer, perfect for new and old fans. 14-year-old Bristol Evergreen has always known she was destined for great things. That is, if she can survive the oppressive Southern Kingdom. Her only escape are books, but since it's illegal for women to read in her country, she has to find creative ways of acquiring them. Working as a maid at her local library gives her the perfect excuse to be near them and allows her to sneak a few titles home when no one's looking. But one day, Bristol uncovers a secret section of the library and finds a book about magic that changes her life forever. Magic is despised and outlawed throughout the world. Bristol is well aware of the severe consequences the book may bring, but her curiosity gets the best of her. By reading some of the text aloud, strange phenomena begin to occur, and Bristol discovers she's capable of magic, and the more she practices it, the harder it becomes to hide. After being caught and convicted, Bristol is saved by a mysterious woman named Madame Weatherberry. The woman takes Bristol to her Academy of Magic and teaches her to become a fairy. While Bristol studies magic and befriends the other students, Madame Weatherberry is suddenly called away on suspicious matters. When she doesn't return, Bristol and her friends work together to find and save their instructor. Along the way, the students discover Madame Weatherberry's true intentions for the Academy are not what they seem, and they come face to face with the sinister plot that puts the fate of the world and the fate of magic itself in grave danger. So if you want me to read this, vote A Tale of Magic. We're only about the halfway point. We still got a ways to go. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have The Night Country by Melissa Albert. This is a Hazelwood novel. I'm pretty sure I unhauled The Night Country. I don't have it marked, but I'm going to go and look in my guest room and see if it's in there. Okay, I did unhaul that one. All right, get back here. All right, next up. Next up we have What's Not to Love by Emily Wibberley and Austin Segman Broca. I feel like I haven't read this one yet, but I do own it. That is correct. This says, An Academic Enemies to Lovers YA. Since high school began, Allison Sanger and Ethan Molly have competed on almost everything. AP classes, the school paper, community service, it never ends. If Allison could avoid Ethan until graduation, she would. Except naturally, for two overachieving seniors with their sights on valedictorian and Harvard, they share all the same classes and extracurriculars. So when their school's principal assigns them the task of co-planning a previous class's 10-year reunion, with the promise of a recommendation for Harvard if they do, Ethan and Allison are willing to endure one more activity together if it means beating the other out of the lead. But with all this extra time spent in each other's company, their rivalry begins to feel closer to friendship, and as tension between them builds, Allison fights the growing realization that the only one thing she wants more than winning is Ethan. So if you want me to read this, vote What's Not to Love. All right, next up. Next up we have Arusha and the City of Gold by Roshani Chokshi. I don't think I've read this one, but I do believe I still own it. So I know I've read some of that series. It looks like I've only read the first book, and this is book 3. So the one you would vote for would be Arusha and the Song of Death, which is book 2. But I'm going to read you about the first book. You could just vote Arusha if you want me to read this. This says, 12-year-old Arusha has a tendency to stretch the truth in order to fit in at school. While her classmates are jetting off to family vacations in exotic locales, she'll be spending her summer break at home in the Museum of Ancient Indian Art and Culture, waiting for her mom to return from her latest archaeological trip. Is it any wonder that Aru makes up stories about being royalty, traveling to Paris, and having a chauffeur? One day, 3 schoolmates show up at Aru's doorstep to catch her in a lie. They don't believe her claim that the music's lamp of Bharata is cursed, and they dare Aru to prove it. Just a quick light, Aru thinks, then she can get herself out of this mess and never fib again. But lighting the lamp has dire consequences. She unwittingly frees the sleeper, an ancient demon whose duty is to awaken the god of destruction. Her classmates and beloved mother are frozen in time, and it's up to Aru to save them. The only way to stop the demon is to find the reincarnations of the 5 legendary Pandava brothers, protagonists of the Hindu epic poem, the Mahabharata, and journey through the kingdom of death. But how is one girl in Spider-Man pajamas supposed to do all of that? So if you want me to read this, vote Aru Shah. Or if you want me to continue the series, just vote Aru Shah. Alright, next up. Next up we have The Project by Courtney Summers. I feel like I read The Project, but I'm not certain. Okay, I did read and unhauled The Project. Alright, next up. Okay, next up we have The Whisper Man by Alex North. I feel like I read this one and unhauled it. Maybe I'm thinking of a different book. Yeah, I think I was thinking of a different book. It looks like I do still own this and have not read it. This says, in this dark, suspenseful thriller, Alex North weaves a multi-generational tale of a father and son caught in the crosshairs of an investigation to catch a serial killer preying on a small town. After the sudden death of his wife, Tom Kennedy believes a fresh start will help him and his young son, Jake, heal. A new beginning, a new house, a new town. Featherbank. But Featherbank has a dark past. 20 years ago, a serial killer abducted and murdered 5 residents. Until Frank Carter was finally caught, he was nicknamed the Whisper Man, for he would lure his victims out by whispering at their windows at night. Just as Tom and Jake settle into their new home, a young boy vanishes. His disappearance bears an unnerving resemblance to Frank Carter's crimes, reigniting old rumors that he preyed with an accomplice. Now detectives Amanda Beck and Pete Willis must find the boy before it's too late, even if that means Pete has to revisit his great foe in prison, the Whisper Man. And then Jake begins acting strangely. He hears a whispering at his window. So if you want me to read this, vote the Whisper Man. Alright, next up. Okay, then we have Stranger Than Fiction by Chris Colfer. I feel like I still have this one and haven't read it. That is correct. This says, Cash Carter is the young, world-famous lead actor of the hit television Whiz Kids. When 4 fans jokingly invite him on a cross-country road trip, they're shocked that he actually takes them up on it. Chased by paparazzi and hounded by reporters, this unlikely crew takes off on a journey of a lifetime. But along the way, they discover that the star they love has deep secrets he's been keeping. What they come to learn about the life of the mysterious person they thought they knew will teach them about the power of empathy and the unbreakable bond of true friendship. So if you want me to read this, vote Stranger Than Fiction. Alright, next up. Next up we have Providence by Carolyn Kepnes. I don't know. I have to look. Okay, it looks like I unhauled that one. Alright, next up. So this next book here is one that's the second book in a series, and the first book in this series is something that is going to be in a separate haul, a book outlet haul, which I believe will have aired by the time this one does. So the book that I have here is Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. Okay, so this is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and at this point in filming of this particular Have I Read It, that book has been mentioned in Have I Read It from last month, and it hasn't even posted for you guys yet. I'm filming this early because of a trip I've got coming. So I have no idea if that's going to get voted for or not. So we're going to say if A Good Girl's Guide to Murder wins in that one, then you can vote for Good Girl, Bad Blood. And I'll put it like on the screen somewhere and tell you if that's the case or not. If it doesn't win, then what you would vote for now would be A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And again, I'll put it on the screen on which one you can vote for this time. But I do own it. I have not read it. So I'm going to tell you about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This says, for readers of Kara Thomas and Karen McManus, an addictive, twisty crime thriller with shades of serial and making a murderer about a closed local murder case that doesn't add up, and a girl who's determined to find the real killer, but not everyone wants her meddling in the past. Everyone in Fairview knows the story. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singe, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. But she can't shake the feeling that there was more to what happened that day. She knew Sal when she was a child, and he was always so kind to her. How could he possibly have been a killer? Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. This is the story of an investigation turned obsession, full of twists and turns, with an ending you'll never expect. So if you want me to read this, vote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder or Good Girl, Bad Blood. I'll put on the screen which one. All right, next up. And then we have The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis. I don't know. Okay, it looks like I do still own this and have not read it. This says, welcome to Amontillado, Ohio, where your last name is worth more than money and secrets can be kept for a price. Tress Monter knows that her family used to mean something until she didn't have a family anymore. When her parents disappeared 7 years ago while driving her best friend home, Tress lost everything. She might still be a Monter, but the entire town shuns her now that she lives with her drunken, one-eyed grandfather at what locals refer to as the White Trash Zoo, a wild animal attraction featuring a zebra, a chimpanzee, a panther, among other things. Felicity Tornado has it all, looks, money, and a secret that she's kept hidden. She knows that one misstep could send her tumbling from the top of the social ladder, and she's worked hard to make everyone forget that she was with the Montors the night they disappeared. Felicity has buried what she knows so deeply that she can't even remember what it is, only that she can't look at Tress without having a panic attack. But she'll have to. Tress has a plan. A Halloween costume party at an abandoned house provides the ideal situation for Tress to pry the truth from Felicity, brick by brick, as she slowly seals her former best friend into a coal chute. With a drunken party above them and a loose panther on the prowl, Tress will have her answers, or settle for revenge. So if you want me to read this, vote The Initial Insult. Okay, I think we're coming up on the last book, I believe. Maybe. All right, let's see. Okay, the last book that I have here is Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I have read Pieces of Her. I do still own it, but I think that I'm unhauling it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it as unhaul, like read and unhauled. I think it's in my pile to unhaul. All right, let me check just to make sure. Yes, that was the final book. So I will be picking the top 2 voted books. Here are the things that you can vote for. The Gilded Ones, Among the Beasts and Briars, Lore, The In-Between, Amari and the Night Brothers, The One and Only Ivan, The Elephant in the Room, Palo Santiago and the River of Tears, The Crooked Staircase, A Tale of Magic, What's Not to Love, Aru Shaw, The Whisper Man, Stranger Than Fan Fiction, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, or The Initial Insult. So comment down below which book or books you would like for me to add in the upcoming month. And you can vote for as many or as few as you would like. It doesn't have to be just, you don't have to vote for 2 because I'm only picking the top 2, but you can vote for 1 or you can vote for 5 of them. But yeah, comment down below which ones you would like for me to read. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!